Hey, if you watched my last video, you would have seen I had a few repairs done to this lovely, almost antique Yamaha. Now one of my viewers, Mr. Vardag's Technic, left a comment. He says you should fix Speedo too. If I was to agree with that, that would be too easy, wouldn't it? How about we make it more interesting and I give you a few reasons why I should not fix it, then give you a few reasons why I should. So, point number one, is it even worth spending the cash on this old banger of a bike? Point number two, this is 110cc, it doesn't go that fast. By my guesstimation, it would probably do 50 miles an hour downhill at a push. And I can pretty much tell how fast I'm going anyway without the need for a Speedo. Point number three, here in Mindanao, Philippines, unlike the UK, we do not have speed cameras by the side of the road. We also do not have police speed camera vans hiding in laybys and behind bushes ready to shaft you at every given opportunity. I will also add to this, we do not have the self-proclaimed speed awareness group twitching their curtains, standing by the side of the road in total contempt of every motorist that passes them. Now I shall give you a few reasons why I should replace the Speedo. Number one, the bike came new with a working Speedo, so why shouldn't it work now? That's a good point. Number two, I've already spent some money fixing this bike up, so why shouldn't I go the extra mile and fix the goddamn Speedo anyway? There you go. That's my excuse. And number three, I would actually like to know how fast this bike does go on a flat, full throttle. So, I am going to go down to the shop today, and just for Mr. Vardag's, I would have done this anyway, by the way. I am on the side of getting it fixed. Actually, before I actually wrap up here, the actual screen on them clocks is all plastic's all gone misty and looks shit. So I'm going to change them anyway. They're letting the side down. So I'm going down the shop and we're going to fix that Speedo and get it done. Okay, we're here. Well, looking at that Speedo, it looks a piece of crap. But look what we got here.
The new one, 700 pesos.
Wow, I like it.
Wala siya, neutral o speed meter.
We'll have it.
Wala sa ganing sa iyang M2 siya.
Look, it's all electric. Plug connector, plug and play.
Seems like only the, how do you call this? There's no gauge for the fuel.
I'm not worried about the fuel gauge. I can shake the tank. Plus this if I start running out, you can turn the tap round to reserve on here. So it don't need fuel gauge. All you want is the Speedo. That's all that matters. No, all this don't matter, just the Speedo.
But they are attached to the other,
Yeah.
so...
Yeah, no, we'll have it. See, I like this shop. They've got everything in stock. They're brilliant here. This is the nuts, this place. Thank you, we'll come back later. Cheers. I'll leave my Look at the frigging size of that. That is 66 pence. Plus you get air conditioning to eat it. if this was in England, one of them 99 cones that you get, depending where you are, if you're at a venue or something, I like to bang the price up, you know what I mean? You can be paying like up to £2 for one of them silly little 99 cones. 66 pence in English money, and this will take me about 30 minutes to eat. So the clocks are all on, but they can't get the actual Speedo working at the minute because they need a cable to go down to the front wheel, what they're saying. So, and they can't find a cable in Merrimack. So we've got to find a cable.
To Valencia.
Yeah, so we'll have
This is very old. Maybe they piece up some of parts of this one.
yeah, I know it's very old. So we'll go and find a cable from somewhere.
Antique.
Well, these things are sent to try us. I guess we'll look into where we're going to get a Speedo cable from now. This bike is very old and it's getting harder to get the bits for it. So not to worry, we'll sort it out. We have the bike back. The good news is on the instrument pack we have a neutral light, and if I put the indicators on we have a flashing warning light for the indicators, but as you can notice the flashing indicator light is the neutral light and the little orange light should be for the indicators. So it's like, yeah, when I get a test light I will probably find out what wires are what and swap them round so they illuminate the relevant lamps. But I will say, to have a little warning lamp for the indicators on is really good, because I do forget to switch the indicators off quite often. Apart from that, I checked the headlights and they weren't working at all. The earth wire that goes on to here, it was connected up, but the headlight wasn't working. I just sort of like wriggled the wire, it fell off in my hand, so I'm going to reattach that properly, and that's my headlight working again. So that's it. All I've got to do now is somehow find a cable for the Speedo. But looking at where the Speedo goes down onto the front hub, it looks like it's been mullered in there. So that's probably going to need a little bit of work getting that out. I reckon that's been snapped off in there. And obviously the Speedo cable screws up underneath the instrument cluster just there. So I'm probably going to have to go to Valencia City to get myself a cable. But hey ho, I'm sure I can find one somewhere. Well, we've come to a different shop and they're actually checking to see if the drive, because it's bust there, isn't it? Something's broken. So they're checking to see if the drive inside here is still actually working for the cable for the Speedo. So if they've got the parts here, it would be great. If not, we'll see if I can get them. I've been to 2 motorcycle shops and neither of them want to get involved in this. They've had a look but do not want to try and remove this Speedo drive, which they say is seized in, which it obviously is. But the only other option would be to replace this back plate, and once again, because the bike's old, it's getting hold of a back plate. So I'm just going to try and wind a tap into here and see if I can tap it out. That's the brake shoes. Well, I have to say this isn't looking great. I have removed a circlip and a washer, and there's a little dog drive there which goes on to the wheel bearing there. So the wheel, when it spins, will in turn make this rotate and should drive the gear for the Speedo. So let's see. The problem is I can just spin this and it certainly isn't turning the gear for the Speedo. It's coming. Well, it's got a gear on it. Doesn't look great. Right. In here, there is another gear, but I get the feeling that gear is absolutely knackered. The problem I have is I need to remove it, otherwise I've got to replace the whole back plate assembly. I shall go for the waiting game with a can of WD-40. Just before I go any further, that little gear there is made of nylon, so that's going to get melted for sure. I have been heating this for a good 5 minutes now, and I've been trying to tap it, and I was beginning to think I'm either going to snap that tap or it's not going to come out, but it's moved. So I'm going to have one last go with the heat, and I reckon if I'm careful it's going to come out. Bingo! Holy moroli! Oh my god, well that's the outer casing out anyway. With a bit of wriggling, I've managed to get this inner part out. The actual nylon gear would have been on here, but I've had to break that all off. That was knackered anyway, and obviously the cable would have gone through this centre part here. That's the outer casing. The cable would have gone through that and into this part here, so that's where the cable would fit, and then this would all spin. But there is a bigger problem now. In order for me to fit a new gear inside that hub, there's like a little collar in there with 2 slots in it. So there's a special screwdriver with like 2 dog drive on it that would be needed to unscrew that collar, which is right in there. See the little notch? There's one there and there's one on the other side. That needs to unscrew out. I've tried with what I've got and I can't budge it, so it's going to probably need the proper tool or something. Meanwhile, got caught in a rain shower the other day, and there was water dripping off the headlining near the mirror. So upon further inspection, that is what's left of the sunroof drain tube. So I've decided to have a look at the driver's side as well, and there's a whole load of crap in there, which is a bit concerning. There's also a broken wire just here. There's another 2 broken wires on the other side, and also there was a heck of a lot of crap up here, like a mouse had been up here or something like that. That's the kind of impression I'm getting. But the other thing is the hose that comes off the sunroof drain. I wanted to check this side to see how long that hose is. I know it runs down the A pillar, but I'm going to see how long that hose is so I can get roughly the same length to fit on that side. Oh, and guess what? I'm so glad I pulled the driver's side out. Hello! Breaking news! Well, it's nothing to get excited about, that's for sure. I've been here for like 8 months now, since January 2024. It's now September the 14th. I've received a letter from Huntingdonshire District Council. It is dated January the 22nd, 2024. It was received in this town of Merrimack, Buchanan, on March the 13th. 2024. It's now September the 14th and I've just received a letter. This is the wondrous postal system out here. This is just like a final council tax bill. They actually owed me some money, the council did, when I closed down my council tax account. So they paid me a little bit back, which I had months and months ago, which they were very prompt in paying, by the way. But the way this works out here, if I've got this right, if a letter is sent to somebody like out here in the province, it will go to what's called a barangay office, and the people in the barangay office will deliver these letters specifically to the addresses, but because the addresses out here don't have house numbers, they know whose name are associated with them addresses. So if they know your name, they'll be able to send you the letter. Because they don't know my name, and this letter was addressed to my name, they don't know who I am, so they didn't know who to deliver it to. Because where I'm living here, like Camp 1 Merrimack, that is quite an area. There's quite a lot of residences here. So I know this may sound completely alien, especially in the UK where you have like numbers on your door so the postman can just put the letter through, you know, nice and simple, but it's not like that out here. It's another world. Welcome to the Philippines. Anyway, let's get on. Hey, let's go.
There's a lamp in that tire, and then
That tyre's just blown out.
oh,
Absolutely blown out. The mystics that weren't filming, I should have kept the camera on it.
oh. No, it is.
Alrighty, I thought I'd give an update here because things haven't been working out too well. But what is working out well is it's a lovely evening here in Merrimack, Buchanan. I'm at Gino's Native Chicken restaurant, so we're going to have a lovely dinner. That's about the only thing that is going well though. As far as the Yamaha goes, not good. I managed to get, as you saw in the video, the Speedo cable out, which took a lot of heat. There's also another nut inside there which has to wind out. I heated it and heated it and I heated it and I pissed around with it and I hit it, and do you know what, I can't get it out. I simply cannot get it out with the tools I've got. I looked online on Shopee, Lazada, here, there and everywhere. We have been to a number of the motorbike shops around a few of the towns. None of them have got the Speedo parts we want. Even the back plate that houses the Speedo part, we can't get it. So it seems to be that this particular Yamaha, although it's been discontinued, we can't even get the parts for it. We went to the main dealer because even if I did manage to get that collar out and I broke it or something like that, destroyed it to get it out, say I welded a bolt into it and then it did undo and come out, I would need a new collar. And that little collar, has a tube on it and it goes into the gear to hold the Speedo gear in the hub central. So it's all become a bit of a big headache. And as I found with a lot of these motorbike shops around, although the mechanics, they do seem to know what they're doing, the big problem is, in a number of them, they simply haven't got the tools needed to do the jobs properly. They seem to be very limited for tools. So at the moment, Mr. Technics, who wanted me to fix the Speedo, it's a big no-no. No can do at the minute. You have to remember, here in the Philippines, trying to get parts and things you need is usually a bit of an ordeal, a task. I'll give you a good example. You know that little blowtorch I was using to heat the hub up to get the Speedo cable out? They sell the little blowtorch nozzles in lots of different shops here, but if you want a can of gas, that's another problem altogether. We literally had to find out for ourselves that you can only really buy them cans of gas in where they sell the actual big bottles of gas that people buy for their cooking stoves and stuff like that. So where it was in England, I would have gone into B&Q and bought the whole blowtorch with the gas canister as a whole unit. You don't do that here, that doesn't happen. So that's where we are at the moment. I'm not giving up. I'm going to get this Speedo working. So, but at the moment it's just a case of trying to find out what I can do with it. I'm going to give the actual hub unit that's got the nut seized into it to somebody who reckons he can drill it out, and if we can even get it drilled out, it'd be something. But if that doesn't work, we found another bike make called Russi, which I believe is a cheap Chinese brand, and I found a picture which looks almost identical. So I'm going to try and match the hub I've got up on the Yamaha and think it may be the same as the Russi. And if it is, that's great. I'll buy a Russi one, because there's lots of Russi retailers around here selling their bikes, their Chinese bikes. And you know what China are like, don't you? They copy everything off Yamaha, Kawasaki, God knows what, and stick it on their own bike probably. So
Thank you, Mom.
hopefully that'll work. So what I'll do is, I'll put it back together at the minute, get the bike up and running so I can use it. And in the meantime, I'll be working out how I'm going to get this Speedo fixed. I'll update you. So for the minute, I'm going to drink my San Miguel. And I will let you know what's happening later. See ya.